I'm Craig Slate.
And I'm Ed Bertaud.
And you're listening to
The Fresh CrEd. Welcome back, folks. Thanks for being here with us on The Fresh CrEd, live from the International Fresh Produce Association Global Produce and Floral Show. So if you've joined us earlier today, you obviously have gotten to enjoy some of our great guests and partners. Here with us now is another great guest and partner, and that is David Figliola, Business Unit Director at HEB.
Welcome, David.
Thank you.
Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Well, we were talking about the goings-on of the show, so maybe we can start with that, or what's your what's your impression so far?
Yeah, I mean it's been really good for me in this role now. It's a little bit different because I'm not necessarily tied to categories anymore. So last year was the first show that I was at where I wasn't tied to categories, and it was really awkward because I didn't really know what my place was. This year, still in the same role, but having more strategic conversations, kind of high level with our strategic suppliers, it's been a little bit better for me, and the show's been great. I mean, it seems like yesterday especially was extremely crowded. So they've got a good turnout.
So let's back into talk a little bit about what role you were in. So HEB, did you? I don't think you mentioned that.
I mentioned
okay, and so what role were you in? What are you doing now? And what was the difference?
So I was a BDM for HEB for 10 years. Mm-hmm. A BDM in the real world is basically a category director.
Okay.
So I had the responsibility of the strategic vision for the categories that I was assigned, which was berries, apples, and pears, and that was pretty much my entire career with HEB. I had bananas for a while. I had mushrooms for a long time, but predominantly the items that took up my time were berries and apples and pears. And it's great categories. Berries, obviously, with the volatility, keeps you going, keeps the energy going. Apples and pears, there's a lot of long-term vision with that, a lot of strategy, a lot of working with suppliers to kind of develop varieties that are gonna carry the category into the future. So that was my role. And then in April of last year, I was promoted to business unit director, which is director. We have two of us, actually. The department was split up into two to support the amount of growth that we've seen, especially the last 4 or 5 years. And the amount of partners that we have that are supporting produce procurement, which has grown probably 3 times since 2019.
Wow!
So I've got the responsibility of 5 BDMs now, and all of their buyers underneath them, as well as BDAs. So.
Yeah. So you're not focused or bound by those categories, but you're now open to everything.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. So it's been really fun to be here and meet categories and suppliers that I haven't been exposed to in my 10 years at HEB.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, born and raised in San Antonio?
No, born in St. Louis, Missouri.
Wow.
Yes, Cardinals.
We're learning things today.
Two Midwesterns.
I just assumed Texas.
No, I was born in St. Louis. I did move to Houston when I was a freshman in high school. I won't say when that was.
Oh, come on.
A long time ago.
No. It's not that long ago, buddy.
I'm 55. It was a long time ago. Yeah.
Oh, my God. How can I not look this
really
good?
55?
I'm 57. You look like you're
we look
42,
exactly the same.
man. Bro,
No.
I'm telling you right now. Oh, my God.
Now
I really feel,
well.
I'm no longer feel good about myself. I mean,
we should feel all good about ourselves. See, it's the amount of produce that we eat.
You
that
look,
keeps
seriously, you look young.
I appreciate it.
Impromptu push-up contest right now.
So, it's got good skincare.
Oh, thank you.
That's nice.
Yeah,
very well done.
Oil Valet. I recommend it for everybody. Yeah.
Sorry I interrupted.
No worries. So I moved to Houston to live with my dad in the early 80s, and that's where I graduated high school, and then went into the Army after that, and then went back to Texas to go to college, Sam Houston, and then started my career back in St. Louis. Actually, I went back to St. Louis where I started my career in the produce industry. Yeah.
So Houston, what part?
Magnolia.
Yep.
We just opened another store there last year, maybe a little over a year ago.
Back then, there was a big gap between Houston and Magnolia.
Magnolia didn't get considered Houston in those days.
No, Magnolia. We were just a little 3A. Now they got 2 5A schools, maybe even 6A. I don't know. Maybe
No.
they're 6A. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I believe it's same as I know. I did 2 different stints in Houston.
Okay.
Now, and I've lived at a couple different places. I can't say it's my favorite. Now, people are great. The food's amazing. But, man,
And plenty to do.
The traffic.
There's plenty to do.
Yeah, but the traffic and the weather there,
Yeah.
the humidity, it's just.
No,
it's you can't. I mean,
I do love Houston. I do love St. Louis. San Antonio's where home is now. We've been there 10 years, and it is really good. San Antonio is really a big city with a small town feel, and it's really good. It's a great place to be.
yeah.
So.
San Antonio reminds me a little bit of Tucson, which is where I'm at now.
Okay.
Right, and it's kind of the same thing. It's like a small town. I mean, it's a city, big
Mhm.
city, but it's got that small town feel
Right.
to it for sure.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a little quirky like Austin, though. It's different in that respect.
Yeah,
It's
we don't
more-
have the quirk.
Yeah.
We let the quirk go to Austin.
Yeah.
San Antonio keeps it real.
Yeah.
Minus the quirk.
Yeah.
So when you were in St. Louis, is that when you started with Robinson? Or,
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. I actually, out of Sam Houston State, I found C.H. Robinson. That was long before we had cell phones and stuff. I had to find them at the Career Planning Center. You actually had to open books to find
Wow.
companies and do
What?
the research.
You mean you didn't have a
Means you really wanted a job.
If you really wanted a job, you had to look for it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I found C.H. Robinson, which was really interesting. Yeah, it was a great company, but being thrown into the produce industry with Robinson, it was heavy wholesalers, selling wholesalers, working on the St. Louis produce terminal. It was eye-opening into the industry. I sometimes tease that I don't know how I stayed in the industry after going through that experience, but that experience definitely set the energy and the vibe, and it got into your blood. And so those difficult times, working selling wholesalers on that terminal definitely helped elevate my career to where I'm at now.
And
Yes.
was that the majority of what you did, or did you get into programs of?
No,
No.
it was literally day-to-day trading.
Yeah.
All the time that I was in St. Louis. Yes.
Wow, that's exciting.
So
Yeah, I mean, that was, like I say, what year was that?
that was 95.
95. Well,
Yep.
so, yeah, go back. I got in earlier 90s, about 91 is when I started with Chiquita.
Okay.
And, yeah, back then, yeah, it was all trading. I mean, you didn't honestly, and pretty sure, looking back, so Chiquita did a contract with Vaughn's on bananas out here. And that, as far as I know, that's the original where contracts and program business started, was with that deal that got put together by Chiquita out here. And some people think that's a great thing, and some people think it's not good, right?
Yeah.
It's changed things. But yeah, back even for bananas, and we were dealing with 4 million boxes a week each week that came in, which I think the number's probably still about the same, in terms of an industry. But you sold through 4 million boxes every week, no matter what. Because the following week there was 4 million
4
more
million
that
more,
came
yeah.
in. So if you didn't clean out last week's, it got really
Yep.
difficult going forward. So,
Banana bread? No
yeah,
banana bread?
and that not a good market for that. So, but anyway, so St. Louis. So what did you? So you went to Sam Houston State.
Uh-huh.
Now, did the job CH take you back to St. Louis, or did you want to go back to St. Louis?
No, it just happened to fall that way. Yeah,
Gotcha.
It was literally the position that they had open that they were looking for happened to be in St. Louis, and it just, I got to go back to the home. So it was a good experience. I would say that I probably at that time would have went anywhere they would have told me to go.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I got you. And then, but you're on that side. You're on the supplier side at that point.
if Robinson could be considered a supplier, yeah, it was all brokering back then. That was before Robinson got into the branded stuff, the Mott's and all that stuff.
Right. So yeah. And then did you do any buying on that desk?
That's all we did. It was literally from a trading perspective, you were looking for product, buying the product, and then trying to figure out where to sell it.
Yeah, okay, so that's what I'm
Yep.
saying. So you did
Yep.
both. That's what I was
Yep.
getting at. You literally
and sold.
that was true broker, and you were the broker
Right.
as an individual, right?
Yep.
So you were boy. That's
And we were the transportation guy too. So
Okay.
back then you had to do it all. So it was
Wow.
long days, for sure.
yeah. That's pretty good training ground.
It was. C.H. Robinson is a great training ground for the industry.
Yeah, I can believe that. I hadn't even thought about that. And then negotiating skills, probably got to hone those up pretty good.
Very quickly. Very quickly.
Those guys on that wholesale market, especially in St. Louis,
they were rough. I could name some of them, but we won't go that far.
Yeah, well, believe me, there's plenty of people listening that don't. No, they know.
They know who they are.
They know who they are, yeah. So, I feel blessed. I mean, Houston, that's because of the wholesale market down there, but compared to some of these other markets, I feel blessed. Houston was a general market. That's where I started with Chiquitos in Houston.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did my time in Houston too. After 3 years in St. Louis, I was down in Houston, and I spent a good amount of time down in Houston selling those two markets that are there. Yep.
Yeah. So good time. So, throughout your career, what all So you come in, produce, C.H. Robbins. You're now down in Houston.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I was in Houston, and then all was C.H. Robinson. I went back. I went back from Houston. I went to their Chicago offices in Bolingbrook, where they ran a warehouse that helped support the Aldi accounts. And I was the Aldi account manager for C.H. Robinson for a good 7 years.
Okay.
Did that. And then at the time when I was doing that, after the first year in Chicago, I figured out that I could go to St. Louis and still do the same job for them, just from St. Louis. Chicago, if you're from St. Louis, Chicago's really not a good fit for you, and probably vice versa. So I went down to St. Louis and did that until 2010 before I left C.H. Robinson and took an opportunity back in Houston with Oppenheimer. So yeah, my whole career in life almost has been.
It's a loop.
Yeah, the freeway that runs from Houston to St. Louis works perfectly for me.
Yeah,
so,
you know it well.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, that's when I dug into my time with Oppenheimer.
Yeah, that's another good training ground.
Yes.
Spot for sure.
Yep.
And,
They're really good, really good.
And Jeff was a pretty good guy to have.
Probably the easiest boss I ever worked for in my life.
Oh, Jeff from
Houston.
Yeah,
for
Jeff
sure.
Walker.
Yeah,
Jeff Walker.
Now retired and living the dream out there.
Living the dream. Shout out, Jeff Walker.
Yeah, you know what? And I'm sure he's not listening.
If we send it to him, he'll listen.
He will now. When
Yeah,
he
he
finds
will.
out
Yeah,
was on the
I was
podcast.
going to say maybe I'll let him know that we called out his name and get him in.
Yeah.
But
He's playing golf.
God, no! What a prince of a guy too.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I can
really
imagine working for him was a pretty good gig.
It was very easy.
Yeah.
Yes. From going from that Robinson environment, atmosphere, lifestyle, to that Oppenheimer, which is so easy because they got such great product, and great people that you work with, and the environment is so easy to fit into, and so
Nice office. At least that I remember.
yeah, it was a
I mean,
okay. Yeah, it was a nice area of town and a good office. Yeah. So the environment was easy for sure.
And then what year did you make the move over to HEB?
That would have been 2013.
Okay.
Yep. So it was one of those situations for Oppenheimer, and to this day they still razz me about it because they sent me over there to. They sent me over there to really get better at strategic alignment with HEB.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful!
And that strategic
You got
alignment.
aligned all right.
So they recruited me. The leaders at the time recruited me over to come, help out at HEB, and it was a tough decision because that environment I was in Houston with Jeff was pretty. I wouldn't say laxed, but. I did very well there, and so making that.
Hugh Topper's a pretty relaxed guy.
I'm sorry?
Hugh Topper, he's a pretty relaxed guy.
Oh that's not. Yes, actually, he is very relaxed. Yeah, Hugh will keep you going.
Yes,
as would Roger.
Yeah,
at the time,
yeah,
yes.
Roger as well.
Yeah.
Both of those guys.
Absolutely.
I know them and knew them for a long time, and I knew some of the guys that trained them up. They were their predecessors were pretty tough characters as well. I had a few dealings with some of those guys. So
you get to have a few dealings with those guys. Yep. Yeah. No, they were. They brought me into the retail side. I'm forever grateful for that.
Yeah.
I didn't know I wanted to do that at the time, but when I got in there and I got in with HEB and got to learn what kind of company it is, I knew I had made the right decision. And it was for me at the time as a BDM was a career pinnacle position for me. And I loved my time. I love my time with HEB. It's such a phenomenal organization, and I couldn't ask for better.
Yeah, that's amazing. And it's not just at your level, right? I mean, you can go to the stores and you'll get that same kind of feedback, and they've got the 26 years on their badge and that kind of stuff. What do you think it is that drives that? I mean, culturally, that's got to be. I mean, it's got to be just a culture set, right?
It starts at the top.
Yeah.
You know, our top leaders at HEB are all, you know, sending the same message. They're treating every partner's treated the same. You know, nobody's, you know, there's hierarchy obviously,
Sure,
but
it has to
everybody
be.
feels like they feel like they are owners in the organization, and that's why we call them partners. Everybody does matter within HEB. Everybody makes a difference, and everybody feels like they're an owner, and the direct lines of communication that you have with everybody within the organization makes you feel like you know, you're part of something big, and you're helping contribute to the success of the company.
So that's internal.
Mhm.
What is your slant on the, I say it all the time, cult following from a customer perspective?
Yeah, I think that is everything that we do is either geared towards our partners or our customers. And so, you know, when you go into our stores, everything is designed to make sure that customer feels like they are in an environment that's supportive of them. So it's from the products that they want, the environment that they want, anything that they could want from product to customer service to I don't know, you name it. We don't want them to feel like they're missing out on anything. So we try and cater to every customer in Texas, and we try to cater to every one of their needs. And that's, I think, the products that we bring to the table, the way that we bring them to the table, and the quality of product that we bring to the table for our customers really helps solidify that kind of cult following that we have in Texas, or that feeling that
Loyalty.
That loyalty, yeah. They trust HEB.
I thought of my grandfather because he lived to 98, I believe it was. You know, in the last years of his life, his HEB was 2 blocks from his house, and he could walk there, and you would never get him to go anywhere else. You know, I mean, there was the loyalty and comfort level and everything you just talked about, kind of all wrapped into one. And there's, like that story, there's, I would venture to say, thousands of, not hundreds of thousands.
Yes. Yep. I mean, look at when we went into Frisco last year.
Oh yeah.
It was a big undertaking, and it was something that, you know, we had talked about as a company for years and years and years, and we finally did it, and we were really nervous because we didn't know how well we were going to do. But when you had 1,500 people lined up at the front of the store the morning that we opened, that's when it got real.
And it was weeks of that.
Yes.
I mean, you know, you guys, that store, it was, you know, have you been into any of the new stores in Dallas?
Not yet. So I'm waiting for the Alliance store because it's right near my mom's house.
I got you.
She's really excited.
Next.
She's from South Texas or Southwest Texas, and so she's counting the days.
Yeah.
And so she's asked me, "Hey, are you going to come up for that grand opening?"
Well, you better get her get her an early ticket. You know, hit David up for, you know, a frontline ticket for your
we'll
mom.
bring you into the store, and we'll have you work in that store for the week at Grand Over. There you go.
I would love to.
Help have you working.
Yeah.
He said working, Ed. Did you hear that part?
Hey.
You're not listening.
I'm a beast with a pallet jack. Just wait and see.
Yeah, and
Forklift
I think that's what they
certified.
don't need. They don't need a beast with a pallet jack.
I'm forklift certified, CDL,
Oh, you know, that's right.
whole 9 yards, buddy.
You got all that? Man,
You're ready.
I've worked.
We're ready to have you.
You need to bring him in.
I've
I
worked-
want to see. I
I've
want to
worked
video
for a
that. I'm
living.
gonna
It
do the
hasn't been podcast my whole life.
I want to
buddy.
see. I want to see Ed not in a tie. You know, actually doing some work.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
I don't think I've ever seen Ed not in a tie.
I haven't either. I've never seen him
This will
work
be new.
either.
This will be. This is going to be awesome. All right.
Okay, so
Yeah,
where were
April.
we with
April.
So yeah, we do have to get towards the close and anything, but you know, just along your journey, you know, and like I say, and the success that you've had, I mean, a lot of different ways. Any one or two, what would you say? I mean, what kind of key ingredients or things that you would say that's really made a difference for you?
You know, for me, it's really about leadership and people that you run into or work for in your careers. You know, I can go back and name, you know, from Scott Wessel, who I started working for back in 1994, and the drive that he helped me develop, from him and his leadership skills to going forward to Todd Burnett, who's still with C.H. Robinson, and the things that he taught me and the development he helped, you know, provide for me. And now just within HEB and the folks that we have leading us, and my boss Anna, you know, you gotta take all your leaders and take the best thing away from each one of them to help help develop yourself and your own leadership style and what you bring to the table. And so that's, I think, my development in produce throughout the years and working for really, really good leaders has helped me set up my own leadership style that I'm now taking to the partners that report to me, that work for me, or as I say, as I support them. So what I'm doing now in my role is really hoping to set up somebody else in our department to be in my position and start carrying that forward as I look to the next 9-10 years to possibly retire, head off into the sunset. But you definitely want to leave a legacy, and a legacy that you leave would be helping somebody else develop their own leadership style that you could impact and that they can carry forward.
So. Yeah.
Wow, that's super well put.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and and it just comes back that recurring theme. Laura talked about it, now David's talked about it. It's really the people, and particularly the leaders. And then I could tell you the same thing. I know 2 or 3 people that's made huge difference in my life, and it's not necessarily just people that you work for. It's just people that that give you that leadership. They help show you the way. They give you a little bit of path, whether it's mentors or just great examples of how to live and how to be. So, definitely the people and being fortunate enough to have those folks in your life.
Not everybody's fortunate to have good leaders in their careers, and so when you have one and you recognize that person is a good leader, then you really want to sidle up to them and kind of absorb everything that they're doing and spend a lot of time with them and start to take that forward with you. So
very cool, very cool. Well, Eddie B, what do you think? Anything?
I mean, I could go on. I've got more questions, but. Again, we'll need a part 2.
We finished most of these with a part 2 coming up.
Yeah. I'll be here. Let me know.
For sure. Well, you want to be part of our tour. We're now putting together a
so far we're in
tour.
Spain, Santa Paula.
When do you go to Hawaii? When is
Portugal.
that? Costa Rica.
Actually, I'm leaving Friday.
We just need a Yeah, well, he's going to scout. He's going to scout the area.
Okay.
But yeah. No, thanks for being with us. I mean, we know that's, there's a lot of competing things going on at the same time. So thanks for being with us.
That's the cool thing about the show, though, is even though we're all competitors, and even you walk that show floor, every one of them is competing with each other, but it becomes one big cohesive industry at this point,
right?
And it's fun to be part of because even talking to some of my competitors on the floor. It's always good to be around like-minded individuals in the industry and learning from everybody. So
that's cool.
It's a good time.
Well, thank you for the time today for
Absolutely.
sure.
Thanks for having me.
We appreciate it. And look, we'll see you around, and like I say, either see you in San Antonio or get you out on the tour.
Part 2 coming up.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Thanks a lot, David. Appreciate it.